And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans, the bold new voice of independent media where left meets right. Powered by you, our commenters. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am a conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, a liberal. Our goal is simple: challenge the narrative, reject political bias, and tackle topics that mainstream media won't touch. Your voice fuels hard conversations that will lead to civil discourse. Now, if it's your first time watching, yes, we do record for 2 hours because we take a lot of comments from our listeners. This is the whole point of this show, is to drive the conversation with you guys. So if you found our show looking for a specific subject, just look at the bottom of the screen. Everything is segmented by topic, but I invite you to listen to the whole thing, because what other show out there actually interacts with their audience and take especially the hard comments? Now, here are the topics of the day. Did Trump call Canadians mean and nasty? Carney claims that his phone won't stop ringing with all the countries that want to do business with Canada. The numbers are in. Ottawa's hotel bill for asylum seekers reaches an all-time high. Conservative MP Garnet Genius asks our president of the Treasury Board a very simple question that he can't seem to answer. Foreigners in Canada on temporary permits represent 18.5% of the private sector workplace. At least that's what the claim is. Another claim has been made that Sharia law is coming to Canada through CMHC loans. And finally, there is no charter claim possible in the military. Get your comments ready because the show starts now. What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother? Looks like we're matchy today.
I was going to say, it's a good thing I don't have a black hat on.
Yeah, you're wearing blue today. Should we color coordinate?
You guys don't know, but we're technically in the same room. He's just right there, and we're holding pinkies.
Yeah. We always color coordinate our outfits.
Before I forget, just for you conservatives out there, I am recording with David Creighton, very known journalist, very known conservative voice, a lot more polite than I am, a lot better spoken than I am, but I believe, just like I do, that he is not a fan of Poliev, especially not since the election. And we're recording our first podcast together to see if there's a match, 7 p.m. tonight. I will be broadcasting it from the Political Orphans. So if you want to hear more about conservative, I'm going to call it the Conservative Corner with Nico Lagan and David Creighton, brought to you by the Political Orphans. 7 p.m. right here. Sounds awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm just don't spell it with a K. I'm just picturing the conservative corner.
KKK.
Yeah. You should. That's cool. That little thing at the beginning, the animation.
Which part?
That was neat. It was like,
I know. And there's one at the end.
Oh, and okay. Can't wait for it.
You've never seen that one. This is mine. It's the production house that I run. Okay. I have a very cool animation, so I'll put it at the end. But yeah, you like the... Yeah, it's a new feature. It's a new feature.
In StreamYard?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a new feature.
Well, they can figure out their microphone feature, then I'll...
Well, you know what? They got back to me, so we'll see. I did what they asked.
Okay.
So we'll see. But I did play around with Restream yesterday. And there are a lot more fucking options in Restream. So if they keep on fucking around,
it is pretty good.
Yeah, if I continue having issues, I'm just gonna fucking move it to Restream. I'll probably take me a little while to configure everything, but hey, this is probably where it's gonna go. And if it's the best place to be, well, guess what? It's the best place to be. So
that's right. I mean, well, for you guys, for the audience, it won't matter or won't make a difference whatsoever. We're just talking about some back end stuff on this. So
no, but I think it would make it better. I think it would make it better.
I just mean they won't have to do anything differently or anything.
Oh no.
Yep. Guys, how's it going?
Everything
Cheryl,
changes.
Bumpy, a wise guy. How you guys doing today? Looks like it's gonna be
Daryl, Pam.
yeah, yeah.
what's
Hello,
going
oh
on?
Pam. Yeah, sorry, I miss Pam. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, you guys are ready for it because looks like we've got a jam-packed show, as they say. You want to? Should we jump right into
Get
it, or
it
do we have
started?
any? Do we have any announcements
No.
to make first? Morning
No,
announcement.
that is. I already did, but that is all I got for now. So
Cool.
let's
Let's get
jump
right into it.
right into it. Trump. Here's the question: did Trump call Canadians mean and nasty? That's the question.
I mean,
Let's listen. Let's listen
Okay.
to global news first. Hey.
yeah,
Let's
go ahead.
let's allow for a video, and then we'll talk about it.
All right, let's bring in Keith Baldry for more tariff talk. Keith, U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra made some, let's call them interesting comments today about relations between our two countries. And he theorized why President Trump calls Canadians mean and nasty.
Yeah, he was just south of the border today in Bellevue, Washington, at a conference there, talking to 200 people or so. Caught inadvertently, I think, on audio, talking about why Donald Trump considers Canada to be so mean and nasty. In his words, is because we won't travel to the States and we won't buy U.S. liquor. Here's the Ambassador to Canada for the United States, Mr. Hoekstra.
Canadians stay home, but that's their business. I don't like it, but if that's what they want to do, it's fine. You want to ban American alcohol, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily send real positive signals in terms of they're treating us well. There are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with, okay, because of some of those steps. But, that's Canadians' business, not mine.
So again, that's Mr. Hoekstra's characterization of why Trump thinks we're so mean and nasty. BC Premier David Eby, very quick to respond here, issuing a statement saying today Trump's ambassador to Canada suspended that.
One thing I gotta apologize. I gotta apologize for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn. Yes. But did you notice since the beginning he can't enunciate? He called it Arnold Trump. He didn't even say the D. It's like Arnold Trump.
Dude's having a stroke on air. We're just ripping him.
But you'll see it just continues, and it's not getting any better. But hey, I apologize, but this was the best video. So
No, I mean, this is one of those stories where like the headline's kind of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, finish up and then we'll get into it.
But you'll see he apologizes.
Okay, cool.
My screen is not. No, bro, it's not your screen. You can't.
Yeah. It's that you're 147 years old. that's the issue.
Canadians.
He looks all droopy, and I should be fucking laughing.
Yeah, we're terrible.
Oops. Welcome to the Political Orphans.
Tackling the hard-hitting issues of the day, like this old fuck.
He's almost drooping.
Poor guy. All right, we're going now. All right, let's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are mean and nasty for staying here in our country instead
Canadians
of
are mean and nasty,
traveling to the United States, and for boycotting American liquor. Clearly, our efforts are having an impact. He went on to say, so I say to my fellow Canadians, keep it up. Keep buying Canadian. Keep your vacations Canadian. We would take these attacks on our jobs, our economy, and our sovereignty lying down. We won't do that. Which again, stand together, stand strong together. Sorry, I'm having difficulty with these graphics because my screen in front of me suddenly become a little blurry. But again, that's the response from David Eby today. The Premier saying this is actually working in BC's interest. It shows we got the Americans' attention when it comes to boycotting travel and liquor sales. Tomorrow, of course, the Prime Minister will be meeting with the Premiers. Very unusual. The Premiers usually gather on their own. Prime Ministers don't usually attend Premiers meetings. This has now become a First Minister's meeting. And of course, tariffs are the number one item on the agenda.
So I don't know. You could understand what he was saying.
Fuck, buddy.
He's having a stroke.
Look at the look on his face when you froze.
As he's froze.
He's just like, oh shit.
Fuck, why are we laughing at this?
Yeah, poor guy.
Oops.
But now to the issues, of course. I mean, what do you go first? You take the lead on this one.
I posted about this morning. I made it very clear. It's one of those situations where Did Trump call Canadians mean and nasty? No.
Yeah.
It's like,
probably.
remember last time back in March when the media went fucking ballistic and said, oh, Trump has just called us nasty. And then you start listening to the actual interview, and it was a Fox interview. If you want to see it, go check my Instagram account. I posted about it this morning. But he basically just said that, oh, Trudeau and Trudeau's team are nasty to deal with. So basically what mainstream media is telling us is that if Trump attacks specific Canadians, that means he's attacking every single Canadian. And just like last time, he's attacking the liberals, basically. He's basically saying that dealing with them is nasty. And, you know, for all the elbows up people out there, you don't want to travel to the US, it's fine. You don't want to buy their liquor, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that.
No, I don't.
But are you doing it because you really want to support Canada, or are you doing it out of spite Trump? All you want to do is be mad at Trump, that's why you're doing it. And that's pretty much what Trump is implying, is that you little bitches are acting like little bitches, so you are mean and nasty. So
Well,
I agree. Do I disagree? Whatever the fuck ever, but I can tell you one thing: I'm not gonna lose sleep over this.
no, I think that's the main takeaway here. Did he call?
He's not talking to me. He ain't talking to me.
Did he say Canadians? I mean, I'm sure he did. That's exactly the kind of thing he says. Those are the types of words that he uses. Does it matter at all? No, not at all. You know, to act like this is, oh no, we're so offended. It's just stupid. Like, this is, I don't believe he's talking about Canadians in general. He's clearly talking about the people he's negotiating with. But at the end of the day, this is, you know, it's a trade war. This is how it goes. You know, they're going to put their tariffs on. They have every right to do that. Canadians are probably going, there's going to be a reaction to that. There's always, you know, there's action and reaction at all times. And frankly, a lot of the not going to America stuff isn't even political. It's that our dollar's in the fucking tank. And, you know, what is it, 65 cents or something? Like, it's expensive as fuck to go. It just doesn't make a whole lot of economic sense to go to the States right now. At the end of the day, it's just,
64 cents, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? It's ridiculous to get your panties in a twist because Trump called Canadians mean and nasty, and it's ridiculous for Trump to act like it's a personal, like, oh, I can't imagine why they might possibly not come to the States. Well, I mean, bro, from the Canadian perspective, it does feel like you're kind of trying to cripple our economy. You know, we're not just going to be like, thank you, sir. May I have another? You know, this is just how it goes. This is life. This is reality. This is a trade war. There's no point in if either side complains, you know, if you want to complain like, oh, this is unfair practice. Okay, make that case. But if you're like, oh no, my feelings are hurt. Like, that's just, I got no time for that.
And, you know, I agree with you 1,000%. At the end of the day, listen, he can't play victim on that one because he's definitely not a victim.
No.
But at the same time, you know, he does make a point, because are those people really not going to the US and not buying their products because they think that Canada's better? Or are they really doing that to spite Trump? Now, that being said, is it a good thing that we're encouraging Canadian companies over American? Of course it is.
Yeah, of course, right?
The fact that you needed Trump to do that is kind of where the problem is. That's where the problem relies, right? And
go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's common sense.
Yeah.
If you, instead of spending your money in the US, if you really want to support Canada, that's fucking great, man. That's fucking awesome. Buy Canadian. Awesome. I'll much rather buy Canadian or American before I buy fucking Chinese.
Sure.
So you know what? At the end of the day, and the same thing is, I don't buy pre-made food. I read my ingredient list on everything that I put in my body because I care. And what the provenance of products. If you tell me I can buy garlic from China or garlic from fucking Canada, I'm gonna buy Canadian.
And that's
not just because I like Canada more, is because, man, what comes out of China is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
So,
I think most people just have
I did not need Trump for this. That's
exactly
what I find is hilarious, and all of that is all the baby boomers and the liberals are fucking upset now because they're pissed at Trump. But where was that 4 years ago when the government had us on fucking lockdowns? Where is that when Tamara Litch and Chris Barber are facing more than fucking guys that try to sleep with 15-year-old girls? Like, no, but where's the outrage? Where's the patriotism when it fucking matters? And like I said before, all I'm seeing from the elbows up crowd is, thank God I'm not American. That makes me Canadian. No. If your definition of being a Canadian is not being American, I fucking understand why you hate Trump. I fucking understand why you're pissed off. But don't start to act now like you're a patriot. You're just a little bitch that's acting up like a little child. That's it. That's all you're doing. So at least be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those stories where, you know, we gotta cover it just because it's in the
funny.
news. Slow news day. It's everyone's talking about it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you know, anyone who's getting, you know, if you're Donald Trump or any American getting butthurt because Canadians are choosing to buy Canadian in a trade war, you're ridiculous. And if you're a Canadian getting butthurt because Trump called us mean and nasty, you're ridiculous. These are, I think, you know, as you said, I think most people have a general sense of buying local, all else being equal. I live in New Brunswick. If I have two identical products, one was made down the street and one was made in Alberta, I'll buy the one from down the street. Now, if my two products are that same one from Alberta and one from the States, I'll buy the one from Alberta. And now if it's one from the States and one from China, I'll buy the one from the States. Most people buy in the most local to them as possible. That's not any weird behavior. It's mostly just, you know, media trying to gin up outrage. I don't think most people would actually be outraged, but then the media tells them, oh, Trump called you this, you have to be outraged. And they're like, you know, it's just the puppet master, right? Media as puppet master.
That's why I have a great memory. And I could remember when they did the same thing with Justin Trudeau. You know, when he kept on calling him, when he kept on calling in Governor Trudeau, Governor Trudeau. Yeah, and it's the same thing, right? It's all it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. People read titles and they're like, oh, but yet I look at the people react and I'm like, you know what? He did call you specifically, like, you mean and nasty. Yes, he was talking to you. He wasn't talking to me. He was talking to.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, like, I'd rather be the, you know, the be called mean and nasty than the stereotypical idea of the Canadian, like super polite and like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it, call me mean and nasty before that, whatever that is. I'll take that any day.
Before we go,
go ahead.
Yeah, but before we do, I just wanted to put some numbers. I forgot to do it prior, but I wanted to see. I don't know if you have those numbers, but I was really curious to see how much. No, not those numbers. You're talking about the Ottawa thing. I'm talking about, you know, there's no way that the booze and us not buying booze and us not traveling to the US is worth 75% of our exports. Just saying.
No, definitely not. No.
So you can stop buying their products and stop going and to your weekend in Orlacher and going to buy t-shirts that are a bit cheaper. But at the end of the day, you're not really. We still don't have the big end of the stick. And I love, like, Ibby, the fucking the premier of BC. Is basically saying, oh, Trump is feeling
it's working. It's working.
Trump is not feeling shit. You're just giving him ammunition.
Yeah.
And he's going to continue doing what he does because that's what fucking Trump does. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, most people take their when they're buying shit, really it's price almost first and foremost, unless you're, you know, price / quality. You know, all else being equal, especially price, of course, we'll buy local. But if I can get a product from the States that's 20% cheaper at the same quality, I'm going to buy that. And most people would, even the elbows up crowd.
You're a fucking racist. Somehow that makes you racist.
Yeah, fucking it's treason. It's treason. Mark Carney, he's bought what 95% of his stock portfolios
91
stocks. So I mean, yeah. So he clearly,
but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's always different when it's them.
It's not. If you're just joining us, guys, we are talking about Trump calling us mean and nasty. If you're on Next, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to do like Squirrel Nuts just did, and share this stream. But if you want to be part of the conversation, you know all the cool comments that are woo coming up here. Join us on YouTube at the Poli Orphans. This is the only way to join the conversation. And if you do believe, once you're on YouTube, like right now, like, because right now there's more viewers than likes. That's not good. Like, everybody out there, like. And then
like
if you're on YouTube, like that smash button indeed. If you've never been here, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you're from, why the fuck you care. Give us a bio. Fuck, I'll read your bio. And if you believe that what we do here is important, if you believe that there needs to be a discourse where the left and the right are able to speak, where the people that don't feel that they have a political party, welcome to the Political Orphans. But if you believe in the new type of independent media that is not backed by political parties, support us. $2.99 a month membership on YouTube. And man, you have no excuse. $2.99. It's cheaper than a nasty Tim Hortons coffee. So there you go.
That's right. It's a good pitch. All right, we'll get a couple of comments. Trickling in here. I mean, it's one of those stories where it's, it is what it is, right? But it for whatever reason the media took off with it today. So
it makes me laugh. I see stories like that. I'm like, idiots.
Yeah, really? Who cares? Really, who cares? And it makes you. It kind of like stuff like this makes you realize like how much the media really does. Not just like the bias in reporting, but they actually decide what we talk about. You know what I mean? If media hadn't latched onto this, no one would have even heard about it. We wouldn't be talking about it. So they're the ones who decide what we even talk about. Even this show, like we react to what, the topics of the day are the media is covering. So even we're reacting to them, but they're the ones who really decided, and they can choose to actually, and that's why a lot of the stuff they cover is just, it's about, shock value, and it's not actually important shit exactly like this. Bumpy says, what if America took Canadian alcohol off the shelves? Canada represents 1% of Jack Daniel's sales. I guarantee America represents a much larger percentage of the sales for Crown Royal. And many others. I don't like I said, I'll buy Canadian when I can. I don't like taking things off the shelf because they're American. If you want to label it as American, like prominently, cool. But like, you got to give us a choice. What if I want to buy
the other way around? Instead of labeling it as American,
label this as Canadian. Sure.
Maybe you should just do that, because that I agree with. You should put Canadian products in the forefront.
No problem.
Make sure. Oh no, but that's the way to do. Don't label American products so that you're like, oh, don't buy this, but buy those. No, how about you just label Canadian products and just say, there you go. Those are the Canadian products. Are you looking for gin at the LCBO or at the SAQ? Awesome. This one's made in Canada. If you don't like it, there's others. That's it. It's very simple.
That's a good point. Joe's got an interesting.
I know, I saw that
here. Fender Jazz bass made in Mexico, $1,200. Fender Jazz bass made in the US, $2,500. So that's pretty interesting.
Quality?
Is it quality the same, Joe, or is it like the exact same product whatsoever? Just, and of course, I'm assuming tariffs are going to probably make those prices more or less the same. Is that? But yeah, is that? I'd really be interested to see what the quality of those are like. I'm sure Joe knows probably better than us, but yeah, let us know there, Joe. Squirrel Nut
equal material and quality.
Huh. So what is why isn't everybody just buying the Mexican version? Is it just
because it smells like salsa?
Yeah, exactly. Joe says mine in the pick is US made. Joe's
just like the hair. Just like the hair.
Yeah. Drew says I'm pissed in all caps, and this is crazy. My two brothers from other mothers. Hey, brother, we're feeling you. We're feeling it. That's
the sarcasm is great.
That is a great mustache, man. That's
every time I see that guy, I'm like,
top
you know
quality.
What? Whatever you're selling, I'm fucking buying.
Yeah. Here's my wallet.
I just trust you.
Take all of my money.
It is manly
that keeps the tigers away. Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
Canadian
mean,
tigers.
yeah,
Yep.
a squirrel that says, "I'll buy whatever I want, and I don't need government and social media telling us what to do. Fuck them all." Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
I don't. Like I said, I will buy Canadian if all else is equal in terms of quality, price. Sure, no problem with that. But I don't want the stores to. I don't want the liquor store to remove choices from me. I want to be able to make that decision myself.
100%. There's a. I wanted to take this one from Bumpy saying that Canadians are mean and nasty.
Yeah,
The
that's what I was
nice
saying.
ones are the minority. The majority wanted the convoy protesters imprisoned. And I can tell you, man, take it from me, from somebody that's traveled 30 states in the past 3 years, I do not understand where the fuck we got
we're performatively nice. We're performatively nice,
but I don't understand where we got that reference from, because down south people are way nicer. In Texas, people in Texas were way nicer. People in Alabama are way nicer. People in Arizona are way nicer. I don't know if it's because the weather's so much better, they're less pissed off in general. They don't have to deal with the snow. I don't know. But I can tell you that I don't understand where we got the reputation for being nice, when down south, you're talking the Bible Belt, people call you sir, people call you ma'am, people call you like they just pay respect. You talk to a 16-year-old and he calls you sir. Super polite. People are always ready to help. Like an example that I give all the time, I was stuck in traffic in Alabama and I'm just zoned out. I'm in my truck alone. I'm smoking a cigar, just stuck in traffic. And I'm staring out my passenger window. I'm literally just zoned out. But it turns out I'm just staring at the dude in the next car. He's like that gangster almost with the fake gold teeth. Black guy sitting in the car next to me. And I'm staring at him, but I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just smoking my cigar thinking. And he's like, "Hey, sir, how you doing, sir?" And he was super polite. Like he looked like the type of guy that would have shot me here, but out there, the guy says, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, bro, shit. Sorry sorry if I was staring, bro." Like, can you imagine this here? No, you know that if that happens in traffic somewhere, somebody's gonna get pissed off. You're gonna get the finger. Yet, I don't know where this comes from.
Yeah, and something we've talked about a lot here is we're actually, even though our politics are different from America, culturally speaking, Canadians are very similar to Americans in the sense, like if you just dropped a bunch of Canadians and Americans in a room together and didn't know who was who, you wouldn't be able to obviously pick out, oh, that's the American, that's the Canadian, unless they talk about it. But I think what the real divide is when we're talking about being nice or nasty is a rural versus urban divide. Whether you're in Canada or the US, generally rural people are just salt of the earth. I remember I was in Newfoundland a couple of years back with my girlfriend at the time, and she's from there. I'm just in this small bumfuck town, a couple hours outside of St. John's. I'm walking down the street because they were having a party. I just wanted to get some air, walk to a store. Walking down the street, didn't know where I was. It's just this kind of like super rural town, and I see some guy mowing his lawn. I'm like, "Hey man, where's the store? Where's the nearest store?" He goes, "Oh, it's down that way." Gives me directions. He's like, "Tell you what," threw me the keys to his car. "Why don't you take my car and just come on back down?" Fucking wild, man. Just giving a stranger the keys to his car. And then I drove to the store, came back, got him a beer, right? It was we ended up sitting down and shooting the shit.
And then you woke up and your anus was
it was super slippery and sore, and it was the weirdest thing ever. But I don't know what happened there. How did you know, anyways? Fucking,
I know that guy. I think that guy fucked me too.
He was picking a banjo on the thing.
But I think Bumpy right there, I think is bang on. I would say that he's probably bang on.
1 million%. 1 million%. I would say that.
You want to read it?
Yep. Bobby says Canada's reputation for being nice, I think, comes from our geopolitical reputation as diplomats and peacekeepers. Yeah. I think that's exactly correct. Which actually has nothing to do with being nice, but you're right. I think people took that and then it's trickled down into us being nice. It's kind of a silly stereotype, in my opinion. I don't actually particularly like it, because they don't mean nice as in like super like friendly, outgoing. I think they mostly mean like a doormat is the way I
as in pussies.
Yeah,
as in
that's
pussies.
that's how I take
agree.
It. Just afraid to speak up.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Should we?
Let's take a few. You want to take this one? Just like the saying of the Liberals are the natural leading party of Canada, LOL, brainwashed into believing a slogan made by. That whole
Yeah.
elbows up is the perfect example of that slogan, right? No matter,
Yeah.
they will continue be happy about it as long as the media tells them to be happy about it. Don't worry about how to feel, just listen to the media and they will tell you.
Yeah, and it's like you said, or like Scroll Nuts here says, the idea that the Liberals are the natural leading party of Canada. I don't necessarily think that's true. Clearly our politics are more liberal, but I kind of have a theory on that. I think that Canadians are just going to be reactionary to the United States no matter what. If the United States were a more liberal country, we would probably be more conservative, just because our whole identity is whatever America's not, as you were saying earlier, which is obviously ridiculous. But because America is slightly more conservative, we just became more liberal. But the idea that, the Liberal Party is a natural, that's propaganda, right? That they just want you to believe that.
Of course.
I want to take this because I think it's a new commenter. Homa Hajalaga, welcome. I think it's your first time.
Hochelaga. He's probably from Montreal.
Gotcha. He says Canadians are mostly frauds. The passive aggressive is a Canadian invention. Yeah, I mean, if you're saying we're frauds in the sense of we're not actually this nice stereotype, I would agree with that. Yeah, we certainly lean into it, but I don't think it doesn't actually hold up in the light of day. But I think this is your first time commenting, Homa. Welcome. Hopefully you stick around. Drew,
how about we take massive mustache?
Yeah, well, you always got to take that. I mean, a mustache like that, how can you say no, right? Yeah. He says, as a player in the USA playing football for 5 years, there are not any differences between my Canadian brothers and sisters and my American brothers and sisters other than our Canadian good looks. That's right. That's,
bro, with that mustache, I don't care where the fuck you're from.
Yeah.
I don't care, bro.
Yeah. That's just
hopefully we never meet drunk.
He walks down the streets and just panties are dropping everywhere he goes.
Boxers and panties.
Yeah, boxers and panties. Yeah, got the weirdest boner right now. But also, I'm kind of curious. That's kind of cool there too, Drew. Yeah, you're
I like how he apologizes.
Oh, for the all caps.
Sorry, all caps.
To prove the very nice stereotype. But also curious.
The trick, Drew, if you want to fake it, add some signs, like when you're doing like a shift 1 for the exclamation point, add a couple of ones. That just shows how pissed off you were.
Yeah, exactly. Fake, right? Exclamation point 1.
Oh shit! That guy's pissed.
Whoa. Hey, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to calm down. But Drew, also tell us where were you playing ball down in the States? I'm curious to see. I always like to hear
which balls were you playing with?
Yeah, whose balls? But yeah, was it D1 or anything? I'm always kind of curious to hear the kind of where our audience is from and their backstories.
Yep.
But you're right. Just your overall point here that we're very, very similar. I think a lot of people think we're very different from, like, people think, we're more European. No, that's fucking bullshit.
No, we're North American.
It's 5 Canadians and 5 Germans or 5 Brits or 5 Frenchies in a room. You're going to know immediately who's who. Even if they didn't have an accent, you couldn't pick Americans and Canadians apart. But they want us to believe that we're very different, right? We actually are not at all. Culturally speaking, we're very similar.
Wise guy saying, if you think about it, our dollars being worth only 73 cents in US. Actually, we just looked it up. It's even worse than that, bro. That was a month ago. Right now, it's literally worth 164. It's worth 64 cents. That's is insane,
crazy, man.
Like within the last month, from June 23rd to July 23rd, like I'm looking at the graph right now, and just because we should talk about these things, because these things matters. But here's the graph. Look at this. This was a month ago.
Womp.
Oh,
wob
like
wob canoe.
Wob canoe. See that shit? Like from June 23rd to June 1st. On June 1st, it was 136. Yeah, it's been 136 ever since. It went up and then back down. Like within the span of literally 4 days, we went from 137 to 136. But see, it's been like that for a while, bro. Actually, probably a long time. There you go. That's a graph that you should see.
Bumpy saying do CAD to USD. Just switch those two where it says one USD. No, you can do it right there. Yep, right there. If you yeah, there you go. To US dollar. Yeah, 73 cents. And go back like 1 month or even 1 year.
It is 1 month right now.
Okay, right there. Yeah, so it's
it is 173.
Yeah,
so he was right though.
Okay, so that's all right. That's good.
That's weird. Why does it show it the other way around? That's so weird because those numbers don't work.
Yeah, it is weird. Pam says my experience is that U.S. citizens are just as nice or even nicer than Canadians, especially.
I agree.
So yeah, I think there's no actual real, I think, statistical trend that Americans are any less nice or Canadians are more nice than Americans. But I think you would find a noticeable or statistically significant trend if you instead look at just rural versus urban, whether that's in America or the United States.
This one is funny. Joel Stradamus is saying to Bumpy, not when the Leafs come to town, our season ticket holders will sell those games to Toronto fans for 4 times the face value.
Oh yeah, fucking the Leafs tickets are insane. Absolutely insane.
But you know,
in Toronto.
But you know what's funny about this is that Canadians are so fucking they like to bicker so much that some people from Montreal, when they play Ottawa, will buy Ottawa tickets. They will drive to Ottawa and boo the Senators as they come out in their own arena.
Oh yeah,
imagine, boo! You're at home, like what the fuck? But yeah, I'm sure the owner of the team doesn't give a fuck. He's just like money. But it's still pretty funny.
Anvil got a interesting take. He says, "Hey folks," and also good to see Anvil. You've been away for a few days. Good to see you back. Says, "Hey folks, I truly believe the Canadians are far more compassionate. Statistics are telling. Look at violence, crime, murders, and percentage of population jail. I don't know if those stats reflect kind of what we're talking about because there's a lot of factors that are relating to crime that are more related to like policy and laws and just sentencing in general." I think, I just think if you took 100 random Canadians, 100 random Americans, and somehow were able to really get to know each everyone, I personally don't think you'd notice any statistical significant difference. But if you took 100 random rural people and 100 random city dwellers, I think you would notice a difference.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah. But I mean, it's fair comment, Anvil. Appreciate it.
Before we go to the next topics, I wanted to. This morning, I had the idea because we were talking about the dairy cartel, right?
Yep.
Over the past week or so, we've talked about it a couple of times, and yesterday on the show, I kind of realized that as much as I know what it is, I don't know it into details. Like I don't know it probably as much as I should. Yeah. As much as I should. So this morning, I had the great idea to research
That's actually not a bad idea.
The top experts in Canada. I reached out to 4 of them.
Ooh, I like that.
There,
I like that a lot.
There is a guy that is the leading voice in Canada. He works for Agri-Food Analytic Lab. Mm-hmm. He goes by the name of they call him the food professor on X. His name is Charles. I cannot remember. Dr. Sylvain Charlebois. He has like 60,000 followers on X, which is impressive.
That'd be a really useful guest, I think. Very interesting.
Well, he agreed to come.
Oh,
I reached out to him. I wouldn't be announcing that if
talking about burying the lead. Nice.
We are figuring out a time, but I think I reached out to the 4 main people in Canada, and 3 of them already reached back. So we have the pick.
Pick of the litter. Pick of the litter. Also, I just want to make a quick correction here. Anvil, I called you sir, but I've forgotten. I believe Anvil, you're a female. I mean, Anvil seems like a male screen name, but just want to correct that there.
No, she crushing dudes. Anvils.
Yeah, she's just crushing them right on the anvil.
She's just fucking crushing it.
Homo Hochalaga says he's a very interesting guy. The food professor.
Not a homo.
Homa. Whatever. Homo Hochalaga. All right, tell me how to pronounce it, and I'll get it right after this.
Hey, bro, si tu parles français, je suis vraiment désolé. C'est vraiment une toile.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Désolé.
Yeah, I got it.
All I'm saying is if you speak French, bro, I apologize because that guy's a twat. That's basically, and he clearly speaks French for his reactions. So as I thought, he's probably from Montreal. Hochelaga is a part of Montreal.
Okay, cool.
That's where you can easily buy drugs and shit. It's kind of ghetto.
Nice,
but,
nice,
yeah.
nice. He says, so he says a must watch. Well, it sounds like you're probably going to have him on the show as a guest. So you're going to stick around for that one for sure.
It's just a matter of figuring out scheduling, but he agreed to do it. So we'll figure it out, man. Leave it to me.
That's a good point.
We'll have him on.
It's becoming more and more important, especially as it seems to be becoming a linchpin in the negotiations for tariffs. So we definitely need to
just like we did with the bills.
Yeah, that's
the guy to talk to. So I will always reach out to those people, man.
That's right. Okay, Anvil. Sorry about that. So apparently Anvil is a guy, 270-pound ex-paintball playing male born in the 50s. My apologies. It must be another one. There's another commenter we had that had an obviously male name, but is actually female. But appreciate the correction. And
keep crushing it.
Keep crushing. But yeah, we'll make that mistake again. Should we jump onto the next
100%. So the next topic of the day, Carney claims, and that is obviously a claim because I don't believe that shit for a fucking second. But Carney claims that Canada's phone is ringing off the hook from other countries seeking a trade.
Hey, do you have Trump's number?
Yeah. Zing,
zing.
Wop
wob That's gonna be another one. Wob canoe.
Like that smash button and wob. So here is Mark Carney telling us that Canadians are as popular as prostitutes. That's not what I'm saying. But supposedly we're very fucking popular and people want to do business with us.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on what that means to get a good deal for Canada tangibly? What does that include? And if we can't get there, will Canada retaliate?
Well, the first thing is we're working positively for a deal. We'll take stock if there isn't one that works, but that depends on the overall circumstance. That's
saying
the first.
Nothing again.
The elements of what's positive, and let's start from the position of, really the longest standing and one of the largest trading relationships in the world between Canada and the United States, a relationship until recently that had been tariff-free, a relationship that has many integrated sectors, including the auto sector, the steel sector, the energy sector, and beyond. And so a good deal is something that preserves, reinforces, and stabilizes those relationships as much as possible. A good deal is also one that doesn't tie our hands in terms of other things that we can do so that we can pursue that positive agenda that we focus so much of our time on. And maybe just to go back to the start of your question, look, we have a lot to do in this country. We have a lot positive to do in this country, building this country in a way, building one Canadian economy. Our phone is ringing off the hook from other countries who want to do more with Canada. I've had over 80 bilaterals with world leaders since I became Prime Minister. A number of those premiers have been on major trade missions. We have other things to do. And so we're going to focus more and more of our time on those positive aspects going forward. Thank you.
So you heard it from the horse's mouth himself.
Nothing.
The phone is ringing off the hook because people want to do so much business with us. Then,
because they're
remember what? Hold on. Remember this though. He's claiming that countries want to do business with us. Yet between January and May, $83.9 billion in foreign investors have left Canada, and it's reported that 90% of that went to the US. Even Canadians in May, they normally spend $4.1 billion, give or take, in investment in the US. It went to 13.1%. Even Carney, his portfolio is 91% invested in American companies, only 0.5% in Canadian companies. Brother, fuck off. Who the fuck are you kidding here? Like, numbers don't fucking lie. They just
Yeah.
don't. Like, what is it gonna take for elbows up for that crowd to realize that the big bad orange man to the south is not the problem?
Well,
That
no,
dude
he's certainly not.
and Trudeau is the problem. And there was a great, I think Bumpy said, good he does it more than Trudeau. It's true.
Yeah.
That dude uses more than anybody I've ever heard. Like, I think Kamala Harris is a better speaker, and that's
that's bad. That's really bad. Anvil's got a question here for you. He said, "Where'd you get those numbers, Nico?" If you want to try to look for that while I'll give my take on this.
It's called the government. I presented them on Monday. I got them right from the website.
What were those numbers again?
They're from Statistics Canada. If you want,
what were they of? Like, what were the numbers of specifically?
So they're called divesting, if you will.
That's right. 83.9 billion or something.
$83.9 billion has left Canada from January to May this year, which is the highest 5-month divesting in Canadian history. Under Mark Carney, there's $49.1 billion that have left. So that is from March to May, because the numbers for June and July are not out yet. But all to say, if you're looking about those numbers, they are available on Statistic Canada. If you're talking about the numbers that I use for the Canadian investment, they're on Statistic Canada as well. If you're looking for the 91% to 92% of the portfolio of Mark Carney, you can look at the Ethic Commissioner's report that came out Friday, not last week, but the week prior to that. These are where the numbers are from.
But and guys, that's a good point. Feel free to check us on our work. Right? We always say, show
please
your work.
do.
Yeah, please do. More than anything, we just want to get it right. So if we are human, sometimes we do make mistakes. If we ever do, and sometimes we've caught our own mistakes and we'll correct it the next day on the next show. But that's kind of stuff that if you do find a mistake, just let us know. No worries at all.
Just because I can prove my work all the time, this is where you're going to get it right here. So here you go. This is where the 83.9, as a result, international transaction and security generated a net outflow of funds of $16.2 billion in May, a fourth consecutive month of net outflow, bringing the total to 83.9. And here is the 4 point. No, not so far this year. Remember, because June and July are not calculated in this. First month, January to May. And here is the other one, $13.4 billion in May is what the Canadian investors increased their exposure to the U.S. market. And it was 4.1 in April. So they almost quadrupled their investment in the U.S. So here are the numbers. Wow. And just look for Canada's International Transaction and Securities May 2025 report by Statistic Canada.
And as Squirrel Nut says, we are an audience ran outfit here, LOL. And it's a great point. That you guys often help to decide the content we talk about. Your questions are what probably is half of the show's conversation in general. And if there's mistakes we made, by all means, bring it up to us. It's not gonna create a hostile environment or anything. We just want to get it right.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. So, Anvil, thanks for asking. Like, I know this stuff by heart because I do a shit ton of research. So if you want the rest, just look at, like I said, the Ethic Commissioner's report on 103 conflict of interest that they found with Mark Carney. And the numbers for the 91%, it's a calculation that I believe Table Salt on X actually made, because they went through all the 500 and something companies that he's invested with, put the nationality of those companies, and then made the calculation. But very easy. And I agree with Omo Shalaga saying, no problem, Robo. We will acknowledge when you're wrong. Homo is because you called him a homo.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, Nico.
Beautifully said, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, it's already happened once. Yeah, my pronunciation was clearly wrong. I needed to be corrected.
Okay, you fucking homo.
As relates to whatever Carney was saying there. I think you know, the phones are probably ringing because they're looking at us being like, man, those guys are getting fucking rolled. You fucking call
Thanks a lot. You're making us dealing with the US so much easier.
They're retarded, man. Call the Canadians. But no, it's kind of like in the when the riots happen and in the inner cities there, and the window gets smashed, everyone runs in, right? That's what they're looking over here. They're seeing cans getting rolled, and all the countries are running in trying to get a piece, trying to take advantage of us. I'm obviously kidding. Hopefully that's not what's going on. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Countries are always going to call other countries. That's how it works. Doesn't mean anything at this point. That's just words. Words don't mean anything anymore. You got to it's basically show me the money, right? It's show me. It's time to put up or shut up for Mark Carney. Stop talking. I don't care how popular we are. I care about the deals that we're getting made done. Yeah. It isn't kind of like what you were saying. Canadians need to realize Trump is not he's not to blame for all of our problems, and that's absolutely true. And even the ones he is to blame for, it doesn't matter because we can't fucking control it, right? Like, what's that? I'm gonna butcher it, but I think it's called like the addict's prayer. It's like, Lord, grant me the strength to. Do you know what I'm talking about? Strength to change the things I can control, to not worry about the things I cannot control, and the wisdom to know the difference. But that's, in that analogy, that's what Trump is. He's a thing that we can't control. So let's not waste any fucking energy on that issue. Get the best deal you can as Canadians for Canada, and worry about the things we can control, like our natural resource development, developing the Ring of Fire, that pipeline project we talked about the other day to export oil and gas to Churchill Falls. Or Port of Churchill in Ontario.
Yeah.
So
I love how people are just ripping into you today. I fucking love it.
What's that? Close.
That's probably because of your addict's prayer.
Oh yeah. Close enough.
It's Robo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm high right now too. So I'm fucked up as we speak. So cut me some slack. Anvil says, to me, the foreign investment job security seems related to Trump's attack on Canada and investors not realizing that Canada could compete. Be patient, guys. Look at the growth, not a snapshot. I mean, we're just talking about the facts. Like, the facts are the facts are the facts. It is factually true. $83.9 billion less investment or investment flow out than flowed in. That's true. That doesn't mean it's permanent. Doesn't mean it can't turn around. Obviously, we want it to turn around, but and absolutely there could be some structural reasons that perhaps there's nothing Carney could have done. Sure, okay, who knows? But the clock is ticking. There is a point at we don't need to try to predict what's going to happen. All we're talking about is what has happened. If if Carney turns around, I'll give him kudos. I'll be the first to say good job. I don't I don't think he's doing a great job so far, but I'm certainly open to giving him a chance. He's had multiple chances, but if he turns it around, I'll be the first to say, "Hey, man, good job." But at some point, he's got to start doing it. I haven't liked too much of what I've seen so far, but it's still early in his term, and who knows? Prove us wrong, Mark.
Bring it back, because I definitely need to answer this.
Yes.
One of the first things that you need to remember is that the reason we're in the boat that we're in right now, the reason that we're so dependent on the US, the reason that our GDP has grown 1% in the past 10 years is because of 10 years of liberal policies.
Yes.
Now, blame Trudeau all you want, but the truth is, and that's a fact, you can check it out, Mark Carney has been or was the economic advisor to Trudeau since at least 2021 or 2022. So none of that shit is new. You just look at the numbers. So what we're talking about is not a snapshot. We're talking 10 years of liberal policies that has destroyed our oil and gas, that has destroyed our interprovincial dealings, because everybody has a veto to cancel everything that they want. And not only that, but when you have a guy like Carney that is telling us that Canada's economy is going to rebuild Canada's economy, and he doesn't invest in Canada, he moved his assets to the US before becoming PM. So you just need to look at the message that sends, and it's not good. And at the same time, I agree with you that money will probably come back, but you know when it's going to come back? When the economy is completely trashed. Give it another, if it continues the way that it goes right now, give it another 6 months to a year. They are calling right now as we speak, even if it doesn't get worse, they're calling for a recession next year. If you've ever invested in the market, what do you want? Buy low, sell high. So you want to wait till the fucking economy crashes even more, then start buying, investing in our energy fields, energy like oil and gas. Then it's only going to go up. They're not stupid. Those guys don't care about your fucking politics. Mark Carney doesn't give a fuck about his own politics. Just follow the money. If his cash is not in Canada, he does not give a fuck about Canada. The day that he starts investing back in Canada is because we will have hit the bottom, and now it's going up. He can predict that shit from insider trading. He has access to change policies. So, like that whole conflict of interest, that 103, the day that Mark Carney starts reinvesting in Canada, I guarantee you're going to see our economy go up. That's if it ever happens. I'm not saying it will, but all I'm saying, as an investor, he doesn't care about politics. He doesn't give a fuck. He wants to make money.
No one does when it comes to their own personal money.
No,
that's why following money flows is often much more
is the way to go. Yep.
Yeah, it tells a much clearer picture than listening to what politicians say. But I just to something you say, Eva. So, like, I agree. Like, for sure, some of that is just Trump's tariffs. Trump investors are looking at Trump, saying, okay, for whatever reason, he's got a hard on for hating on Canada. That's not good. I'm probably going to pull my money out. No doubt that a lot of that's going on. Okay, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, that's not Carney's fault. I mean, you could debate that, but let's just say for this, it's not. Okay, sure, fine. Let's agree with that. But it's kind of like with the Pierre Poilievre thing when he lost, and a lot of the defenders were saying, oh, but Trump did this and Trump did that and blah, blah. And we said, fair. That wasn't his fault. Okay. But that's life. There's always going to be something that happens. And what I'm going to judge you on is not that. Like, I'm not going to judge Carney on this 83.9 billion right now. I'm going to judge you on what you did to respond to it. So what can Carney do? Well, a couple things. First of all, that EV mandate has to fucking go yesterday.
100%.
What are we doing, man? Like, because you're talking about making essentially illegal, or it's just not even illegal. You just won't be able to buy a car that's not EV past 2035. 100%. But we don't make any fucking EVs. We make like one, and it's a shit one. So what you're saying is we're going to essentially destroy our automobile sector, because we're going to make illegal all the cars that we make. So now we're going to be buying foreign cars, and it's going to happen far before 2035. If you know that after 2035 you won't be able to resell your gas combustion engine, you're not going to buy one in 2030 either, or 2029. Doesn't make any sense. So essentially that needs to go first and foremost. It's an idiotic policy, has to go yesterday. Bill C-69, that has to go.
100%.
And pipelines have to be built. Our resources have to be extracted. That is, I fundamentally, when we say things like, the economy's in the shitter because of 10 years of liberal policies, I believe, and I've argued this several times here, that what we're really talking about is a fundamental belief that extracting natural resources is immoral. That is what the Liberal Party believes. They won't say it, but just judging by their actions, that absolutely is what they believe. As you say down here, Mark Carney is not the Liberal Party. Right here, he says, yes, Liberal Party's policies sucked, but Carney is not the Liberal Party. He's the leader of the Liberal Party. But okay, let's say for the sake
and he was behind, but he was behind the economic policies. This is a fact. This is a fact that he's been behind the scene for 3 to 4 years now. And when did our economy really hit the shitters? 3 to 4 years ago. So,
yeah,
we need to stop apologizing for them. And remember, Anvil, he was sold to people as the savior, like an economic god, that he, as a banker, an international banker that's dealt with the Bank of England, that's dealt with the Canadian Bank of the Bank of Canada, that he would be here to fucking do his thing. He hasn't done shit, and he's been in power since March 14th. Since March 14, he's been prime minister. He was the Liberal Party. Obviously, he didn't get elected until April, but he's been in power since March 14, and there's still almost $50 billion that outflew out of Canada within March, April, and May. So at the end of the day, people speak with their money. Like Rob said, nobody gives a fuck about politics when money's involved. Where do you invest your money? Where you know that you're going to make more. And people just don't see what's happening. Well, people just don't see it in Canada because the policies, as you said, you need to repeal Bill C-69 and you need
get rid of the EV mandate.
Get rid of the EV mandate. Anvil is asking what happened to the carbon tax.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's still there, bro.
Well, I mean,
like the consumer part has been slid down
to zero. And I gave
the
credit
commercial
when he did it. That's great.
But the commercial one is still there.
Yeah.
He didn't remove the commercial one. He did not remove the carbon tax. He slid it down on the consumer part, but it is still part of the law. It's still there. He can still slide that shit back up anytime he wants.
But and credit where it's due, that was a good thing for sure. But that can't be all that he does. It's great. So he slid that down zero. Great. Credit where it's due. Good move. There are other things that need to happen. And I feel like a lot of this stuff, we can't even really debate this right now because we don't know yet what's going to happen. It's really 6 months from now that we're going to be able to actually talk about it. And I'm not even I'm not even disagreeing with you. We're going to need to see Carney doing some things. Like I'll even grant that, okay, let's say just for the sake of argument that these $83 billion investment was mostly investors being spooked by Trump's just aggressiveness. Sure. Okay. But we need to do something about that now. I'm going to judge Carney going forward. What is he going to do about that? Knowing that we are getting, investors are spooked. What are we going to do about it? Going around apologizing to Indigenous people because they passed Bill C-5 doesn't give me a ton of hope that they've got the drill baby drill mentality that they are going to need to get out of this. But it's still up in the air, and there's still time for Carney to do something good. Me and obviously neither me nor Nico feel great about it, but I don't, if you listen to the way we talk about Carney, I don't dislike Carney as much as Nico does.
You would if you read his book.
Yeah, probably.
And that is one thing, Anvil, Hammer, if you continue, you can defend him all you want. You can say that he's only been in power for a few months, and you know what? We agree. But at the end of the day, if you look at what he's done talk to people in England, how they feel about Carney and what he did to their economy, then read his book Values, like I did, and you'll start to understand that everything that's happening right now is on purpose. This is the plan all along. He wants to put climate change at the forefront of every single economic policy out there. His whole book is a Marxist piece of propaganda. That's why I call him Marx Carney. So go check out his book. I invite you, read his book, and then talk to me about what you think about Mark Carney, because everything will make sense. And you know what the worst part is, Anvil? Is that he's smart as shit. He is so fucking brilliant. That guy, I'm reading his book and I'm like, you know what? Bravo. Because if I didn't know better, if I didn't read history, if I did not know the guys that he keeps on referencing to that are all Marxists, I would be swayed by his book. I would be, oh shit, maybe he does have a point. But when you start digging into socialism and you're like, no, I don't want that here. Because that's what he is. He is a fucking Marxist. So just read his book, then we'll talk again. But we appreciate the comments, man. We're not here to we're not here to rip into you. It's just goddamn, man. Goddamn. He could have, up to now, he should have done more. That old elbows up bullshit was just a front. And he didn't stand up to Trump. Let's be honest here. Everything that he said he would do during his campaign, he hasn't done it. And he's been there for almost 3 months now. So something needs to give. And he needs to admit that it is not 6 months of presidency, Trump's presidency that has caused the economic problems that we have right now. It's 10 years of liberal policy. And he was part of it for at least 3 to 4 years. So that's the truth.
Yeah, and Anvil says, I think this debate is good. I believe in Greek democratic principles. I think you guys are doing a great service.
100%.
And that's great. That's a great
That's
comment,
what it
Abel.
is,
And hey, we love you here. We love your comments. The fact of the matter is, there really aren't that many liberals on the show because most liberals are not willing to engage with people who don't always agree with them. So, we've got you, we've got Joe, we've got a couple others. But we love these discussions. Obviously, I'm a liberal. We love these discussions, and obviously, I like that. You kind of get it here. No one's ripping on anyone. We're all just agreeing or disagreeing respectfully. So, I appreciate the comments, and that's conversations like this are exactly why we do this show.
I want to take this one. This one's great. So disappointed at Canadians since the second election of Trudeau and the weak opposition from the CPC. And this is one of my main fucking problem with Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah.
He is a weak leader with no backbone, and he doesn't stand up to anything. I'm a conservative, a small c. I'm a real fucking conservative, somebody that believes in traditional values. He is not. Let's be honest here. Pierre Poilievre is a leftist. He's just a liberal with somewhat of a common sense for economics. At least that's what he portrays. But the biggest problem in Canada right now is not that the liberals are fucking up our country, is the fact that for 4 fucking elections in a row, the PCP, the Conservative Party of Canada, has lost the elections. They need to take a very good long look in the mirror and analyze, like, what the fuck are we doing wrong? And I can tell you, Pierre, what you're doing wrong. You're not a conservative. That's what you're doing wrong. So I agree with you, Oma, 100%. And the only, I don't know if you had something to add to this, but there's so many good fucking comments today. God damn.
Yeah, we have great.
Trinity Bryan is saying,
that's
I
good
think
comment,
his economic views are more mixed economy than Marxist. Have you read his book? Because Brian, if you haven't read his book, again, read his book. He quotes, I calculated it. He quotes Karl Marx something like 48 times in his book, and we're not talking an encyclopedia here. So he quotes fucking Karl Marx more than 40 times. I can't remember the exact number. I have it somewhere, but yeah, overview only. That's what I thought. I invite you to read it. You will understand where I'm coming from and his policies, what he's pushing right now. You'll understand that it all makes sense.
As far as everything he's actually done while by being prime minister, I agree with you, Trinity. That's how I see it, more mixed economy. But I just, I like, my whole thing is and I did this with Trump when he came in, and I'm doing it with Carney. I don't really like, it's good to read his book and know what he's about, but all I'm doing is judging him by the things he's doing in office, period. And judge him so far. I agree with you. I think his what he's done so far is more mixed economy. But we see this interview of him where he's talking about how climate change needs to be centered. Every economic and financial decision that the country makes, climate change needs to be centered. I don't like that at all. I think that is not the way to do it. Factor it in for sure. Consider it, absolutely. Centered, no. That's what happens when you do that. You get 1% GDP growth over 10 years. 1% a year over 10 years would be terrible.
Yep.
But we're not even talking about 100%. That. We're talking about 1% over 10 years.
Yep. Man, great comments, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Great fucking comments. I love having those fucking discussions. This is why I do it. This is why I spend 5 hours a day getting ready for this show and recording, because I fucking love those conversations.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, our takes at the beginning, that's fine, but it's really, this is the meat and potatoes of the show, is when we get into these kind of conversations with the audience. Michelle DeVoe says, "Oh yeah, I learned about the Mark Carney from what he's done to the UK. He just destroyed the market economics of the UK." Well, yeah, he didn't do a great job. I didn't think as Bank of Central Bank over in UK. Yeah, the Bank of England or whatever.
Yeah, the Bank of England. Yep.
Guys, we're talking, of course, about Mark Carney right now, but really what we're talking about at all times is the political issues of the day through each unique lens. I'm a liberal, Nico's a righty. If you're new to the show and we're seeing some new faces, and welcome, stick around. Make sure to throw some comments in. That's what the show's all about. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, drop it in the comments and we'll get to it. If you do want to support the show, please remember to like and share the stream first and foremost. Subscribe to the channel. But if you really want to support the show and be part of the community here, you can do that by becoming a member through YouTube. It's $2.99 a month. It supports the show, supports independent media. And if you think there's it's important to have a space like this on the internet where common sense people from all over the political spectrum can get together and have these conversations. The best way to ensure the success of this show is to become a member.
Before we jump, I wanted to bring something else, because there was another video that, because obviously the first video I talked about saying where he said that his phone is ringing off the hook was at the Huntsville premier meetings that are happening in Ontario right now. At least they were happening still yesterday. This is another video from that same conference from Mark Carney. So let's listen to what he had to say. And this I'm taking from Mark Nixon, saying Mark Carney hasn't landed one win for Canada. Tariffs are higher. Relationships with the U.S. are worse. So let's listen to what Mark Carney had to say.
We will have a discussion on the current state of negotiations with the United States. I will say that, as you are aware, our senior ministers, my chief of staff, myself, were engaged in continuous discussions. Mr. LeBlanc will be reinforcing those discussions over the next few days in Washington with the United States. We are looking for the best deal for Canada. We're only going to accept the best deal for Canada. That is very much informed by our discussions. We understand as well that we all understand that the global trade environment is changing. And there are some countries that are pulling back, that are restricting market access. But there's even more countries that are opening up to market access. And the premiers have helped lead this with individual trade initiatives to Asia, to Europe, with partners around the world. We are building on those. And part of what we will discuss is how we can be best coordinated to building positive trade relationships with reliable partners. We will have a discussion.
Again, it seems that everything that he says is a jab at the U.S. This is what bothers me about most of his speeches, is he cannot just say that Canada needs to be more self-reliant, that we will do everything possible so that our provinces can deal with each other. We will find partners on the global market to buy our oil and gas, for example. But have you noticed he always has the jab at the U.S.? Like, there's always an undertone.
And
I'll try to piss. I don't understand.
I think that's really stupid.
Trump is petty. He's not an idiot. He picks up on this shit. He doesn't like this shit.
Fuck. He is petty as fuck. And you have to understand
that's the truth. Yeah.
And yes, we can say, oh, it's Trump's fault for being petty. He's the idiot. Well, sure, he is. But it's also our leader's fault for not reading the fucking room. Right? Like,
agreed.
Like, when I was talking to Anvil a few minutes ago, for the sake of argument, I said, okay, let's say that like Trump is separate, like Carney couldn't, like that's not Carney's fault. And just for the sake of argument, I said that. But sure. I got a feeling like in reality, I do not think there was any benefit to the way that he came out of the gates, the way he ran the campaign. And you know what? Even if you want to run the campaign, elbows up, anti-Trump, okay, to win. I think Trump would have understood that. But once you win the election, he should have pivoted and be like, now we're going to work with America. You got to praise the guy, even if you hate him, even if you grit your teeth to do it. That's what being a leader is. Being a leader is understanding when you have leverage. And when you have leverage, yes, you can apply it. You can apply pressure. When you don't have leverage, sometimes you need to kiss the ring. And that's what being a leader is in that scenario. It's tough. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but look what happens. Trump's petty. He's not stupid. He's addicted to news. He's gonna see you. So when he comes out of the gates, and you're right, everything he says, it's getting less so now, but especially when he first got elected, it was just fuck America, fuck these guys. We're gonna work with the Europe, and that was stupid. That was stupid. If you want to rearrange our economy so that America only has 10% of our only, then you can say fuck America if you want. I still wouldn't. But sure, but when they're already 83% of your total exports, you can't have a fuck America policy. It's idiotic.
This is, and I think you're answering Trinity Bryan's question. It's impossible to deal with Trump. 90-day deals, 90 days. It's almost 3 deals in 100 days. But it's not impossible to deal with Trump. He wrote a book, The Art of the Deal. Read that book. No, it's not. Just swallow your pride. That's what it comes down to.
You're going to have to.
Trump is very prideful. He's a very cocky guy that needs to feel like he's the baddest motherfucker in the room. You know what? No problems. You know, I was in high-end sales for more than 12 years, and you know what I've learned? The
You gotta know
biggest
when to
thing
kiss
that
an
you can.
ass.
No, it's not only that. You know, the biggest skill you can learn as a sales guy, convince your customer that it was his idea all
Yeah,
along.
yeah.
If you can do
Trump,
that,
that would
bro,
work on Trump. You
oh, of
flatter,
course
you
it
flatter,
would.
you
Of
flatter
course
his
it
ego.
would.
You have to flatter his
Of course.
ego.
You have to.
Like,
And he's not
yeah.
a politician. That's the other thing. Stop acting like he's a politician. He's not. He's a hothead. He's clearly a hothead. He takes fucking. It seems like he takes policy decision from his shitter, and he puts it into the world. And he puts it to the world on fucking Twitter.
Yeah,
this is the time. But like you said, you need to read the room. And the point in the matter is, Trump is a completely different animal, but he has a weakness. He is cocky as fuck.
Yeah,
and it is a great weakness
that
he
can
can
manipulate.
advantage of.
He can absolutely be manipulated.
Fucking Kamala Harris, the world salad queen, was able to manipulate him during the debate because she said her crowd size were as big as his, and he had small hands.
That's a good point.
That's all you.
Everybody knew what she was doing. Trump knew what she was doing, and he still couldn't help take the bait. He can be manipulated, but you have to know understand his personality.
Read the room.
It doesn't seem like Mark Carney understands him at all. Yeah, I mean, Trinity, like, he is a criminal. Sure, okay, but that's irrelevant. He's still the president of the United States.
Yeah,
it doesn't change anything. Like, there's no point to saying, oh, it's like we can only deal the cards or play the cards that were dealt. Period. And right now, I mean, as you know, Anvil says, the United States is only 5% of the world. They are a petty, minor amount of humanity. Okay, sure, but they're 85% of our markets right now. So what that means is they are 85% of the world to us, and we need to treat them like that. And if we can. I mean, one thing Mark Carney needs to be doing is expanding our market trading partners. 1,000,000%. If you can get that number down to 10%, then yes,
awesome.
Fucking treat Trump however you want. Then we have leverage. Then we can do whatever the fuck we want with them, and it won't affect us. But that's not the reality. That is not the facts on the ground right now, and we have to deal with the facts on the ground. There's no benefit to saying like, "Oh, Trump's a criminal, Trump's a rapist." Those may all be true. He's still the fucking president.
It's still not going to deny the fact that you need to deal with it.
No,
you need to deal with him.
Absolutely not.
No matter what. And he has a massive weakness. I would take pride as a weakness to deal with, because it's easy to deal with somebody with pride. Just make sure he feels he's the smartest guy in the room. But again, if you've ever heard Carney speak, read his book. Once again, as I said before, that dude is also cocky as shit. Very, very cocky. Just remember, point final. He says that to reporters that he doesn't want to deal with. Point final. Look within yourself. That's him. The problem that's happening right now is that Mark Carney is not stepping on his own ego in order to make sure that Trump feels more important. Because at the end of the day, they have more power than we do. We don't have that much negotiation power because, again, they have something like 80 to 85% of our exports. Should we be more self-reliant?
1,000,000%.
But this is not going to happen over the next 5 years. It could start happening, but again, we wouldn't be here if the liberal government did not put all those fucking liberal policies over the past 10 years. We would have had a massive fucking oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
Third largest reserve in the world. Yet here we are not exploiting it and still buying gas from fucking Saudi Arabia. And we're not even refining most of our oil here. We send it to the fucking US to refine it. How fucking ludicrous is that? And if you want to be more specific to right now, $1 billion that the federal government accepted as a loan to give to BC Ferries to buy fucking Chinese ships instead of taking that money, investing it in Canadian companies, making 0% loan to those Canadian companies, maybe, so that they can build them right here. Every single fucking time Mark Carney has had the chance to do something, he didn't do it. Bill C-69 is still there. He can talk about all the cooperation between the provinces. If he doesn't repeal Bill C-69, it's never going to fucking happen. He could have kept that $1 billion right here, reinvested in Canada. Like you said earlier, EV mandates, remove that fucking dumb shit. Even the three CEOs of the biggest car companies in Canada are like, hey, no, you need to remove that we're looking at about 6% right now of Canadian owned, Canadian produced EV cars here. 94% is not from here, and still they're not buying it. Canadians are not buying fucking EV, even with the rebates. They still are fucking buying gas cars. We talked about this. I gave all the numbers last week when we spoke about this. So he has a massive amount of chance to make us self-reliant, to stop depending on the US. But every single time that he has the chance to do it, he doesn't seem to fucking do it. This is talking directly to his action. It's not the record of Justin Trudeau, is what's been happening over the past 3 months. So at one point, you need to be able to call out your leaders, just the way that I call out Pierre Poilievre for being a fucking weak leader that did not stand up for anything, and that's why he fucking lost the election. It's not because of Trump. It's because he's weak. So you have to be able to call out your leaders, no matter if you voted for them or not.
No, 100%. Attorney Brian says, I don't know, I wouldn't call it up to a terrorist because he controlled my economy. So first of all, Trinity,
you don't have a choice, but
exactly. So Trinity, you know, I think it's the first time you've commented here, so welcome. Hopefully you stick around. I'm going to pick on you a little bit here, just because. So first and foremost, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to. It doesn't matter if he's a terrorist or not. If he controls your economy, you deal with them. Like, this is, and when I say pick on you, I say because I'm a liberal too, right? But this kind of thinking and mindset is exactly what's wrong with the left right now. It's all about vibes and feels. There's no actual facts there. It's an opinion, right? Like, at the end of the day, what is the solution here? What are you telling me? Like, all of liberal thought is about, it's very easy to destroy things and tear things down, but we're talking about solutions. We need to talk about solutions, right? Okay, so what is your option? What if you're going to say, I'm not going to deal with the guy who is the president of the United States that we sell 83% of our goods to? Like, he could very well be a terrorist, and that's not actually, you know, there's no basis for that. That's just kind of left-wing sloganeering. But even if you were an actual terrorist, is that going to help you when we lose 1 million jobs? If you're sitting on unemployment and your kids are starving and you're going to the food bank, is it going to comfort you to be like, yeah, but Trump's a terrorist, Trump's a bad guy, I feel good because I stuck by my principles and I didn't deal with him? No, that's idiotic. We need to live in the real world. So much of left-wing thought is devoid of any actual existence in reality. Like, and one thing we say on the show all the time is, you know, show your work. You always got to show your work. The argument is key here. You know, I'm a liberal, Nico's a conservative. Both of us have been proven wrong. Both of us changed our minds. Both of us have changed people's minds. No one gives a shit about it. We just want to get it right. But just kind of like mindless slogans that, like, that's 90% of internet discourse, is just repeating the same slogans. It's easy. It's mindless. It's boring. There's if that's your kind of thing, there's a million other shows like that. Now, if you want to criticize Trump, there's all kinds of room for that here. I criticize him a lot, but like, you got to do it based on actual reality. Tell me things that he's actually doing. And in this context, this discussion, we're talking about economic policy, tariffs, and trade deals. The fact that he had 38 convictions for paying off a porn star is utterly fucking irrelevant. And if someone were to bring that up in this conversation, all that tells me is this is just not someone who's up to the task of having this debate. And you know, I'm not saying that you're not, but that's what I'm saying. I'm going to pick on you a little bit because I'm just trying to riff off this comment a little and try to show what's a little bit different about this show versus probably 95% of internet discourse. Most of it is mindless, low IQ nonsense. But if you want to talk like facts, by all means, there's plenty of real things to criticize Trump about. And in this conversation, we're talking about trade deal, trade policy. So like, if you think, like, we have to live in reality. If you think Mark Carney should just not deal with him, okay, so what is the option? Keep our integrity and lose 1.5 million jobs? That's immoral, frankly. Just like so much of like the left's thought right now is just about virtue signaling. You know, it's exactly like the tear down capitalism with nothing to fucking replace it. If you're going to tell me that you want to tear down capitalism, that's great, but tell me what you're going to replace it with, and then I can assess that. If you're just going to say tear down shit but not replace it with anything, that's just nihilism. You know, there's no place for that. But
there's only one that I want to take, and that'll be the end of it for this one. We'll switch subject. I'm just saying, don't kiss his ass. You don't have a choice. That's the thing. Do you have a boss? Do you work for someone? Because if you don't, that means you own your business. You own your own business. That means you have clients. Guess what? Sometimes you have to kiss his ass. You have to kiss the ring. And in this case, until we're more self-reliant, we don't have a choice because they do buy between 80 to 85% of our exports. At the end of the day, ask yourself this: what's more important? The Canadian economy, the Canadian jobs, the Canadian job market in Canada, or your ego? You can't help the type of guy that he is. You can't help it. That's just who he is. But man, I'm telling you, as somebody that's done sales for a very fucking long time, he has a massive weakness that can be exploited. All he needs to feel is that he's the most important guy in the room. If you can do that every time you have a meeting with him, you will pretty much get a great deal out of everything, because Trump is one of those guys that will ask for the world in order to create a reaction. There's a good fucking reason he's the #1 most Googled dude in the world, because he knows how to create a reaction. But at the same time, he wants something in the middle. It just, again, it's a negotiation tactic. Ask for the fucking world so that you're just like, what the fuck are you saying? But really, this is what you want. And then it makes so much sense when you get to there. You're like, oh shit, that wasn't bad. Exactly. Just fucking, yes, you have to kiss his ass. Unfortunately, Carney needs to. He has to. He doesn't have a choice. But what's more important? Our ego, elbows up ego, or the Canadian economy, Canadian jobs? You know what? I've had to swallow the bullet many fucking times in business,
a little bit,
and just fucking take it, man. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it.
And
my pride is not worth my economy.
And I want to highlight this comment here, Trini. Now this is kind of the comment that I'm talking about. Like this we can work with, because this. So Trini says Trump is back down on 90% of threats. He certainly does that kind of thing. And I mean, I don't know if it's backing down so much as what Nika was saying. You demand the world. And then you settle down there. But like that, now this is an actual solution, right? Like this is a solutions-oriented show. If you're gonna like criticize Trump and say, yeah, I don't like this, and here's what he should do. So in this context, be like, Carney, should go hard, not back down. Okay, sure, fair. But I just want to highlight that, because this is, that's kind of more within like the kind of the discourse of that show. But again,
although 90% is not real, that's a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I just wanted to say, I know you're new, and hopefully you stick around. As I was saying to Anvil, we don't get as many left-wing commenters, but this kind of debate is really, it's one of the strengths of this show. If you do stick around, you'll find that we actually find common ground a lot of the time as well. But yeah, no, just appreciate the comments, and hopefully they keep coming back.
And I agree, Trinity. No strong Canada with a weak leader. I totally agree with you. But that's why a great leader will do what is necessary, not rely on his ego. Yeah. That's a strong leader. A strong leader will lead by example and understand, as Rob says, read the fucking room. Yeah. Right now, we have no leverage, and the guy that we have to deal with needs to feel like he's the most important person in the room.
And that's his personality flaw. That's a flaw. And that's exploitable. Massive, that's an exploitable flaw. But you have to
I love it. Personally, I fucking love it. Absolutely love it, because it's easy to take advantage of. Now, great conversation. Thanks for the conversation, guys. Thanks for the comments. Hopefully, you guys are that interested in numbers that are more Canadian than American. But I've been paying attention a lot recently to Black Clock's reporters. And ever since I'm noticing that they're being sourced everywhere. I read articles now as per Black Clock reporter. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck did I not know of those guys before like a month ago? Like, I don't know what the fuck I was smoking. Maybe you should stop giving me your weed. Goddamn. But all to say that just today I had 3 articles from them that I wanted to share, and hopefully we have time in 30 minutes to just rip through them. But first one, Black Clock reporters say that foreigners in Canada on temporary permits are the equivalent of 18.5% of the private sector workforce. These are the numbers that they're quoting. And you know what? I found an article by the Toronto Sun. I'm like, oh shit. Here's an article, and I'm just kind of proving my point. I'm like, oh shit, They do confirm, but they confirmed 19%. Temporary workers account for 19% of Canada private sector workforce. Then I start looking, and it says right here, that's according to a May 1st Immigration Ministry briefing note, according to coverage by Blacklock's reporter. So I'm like, fuck, I can't use that as a source because obviously it's sourcing the same people that I just talked about. But because I do my work, I actually will show you that it is correct. So here is a piece that is on Statistic Canada. It is called Research to Inside Temporary Foreign Workers in Canada. So we were talking about 18.5%, 19%. It turns out that as per their own numbers in Canada, there are over 3 million. It was right here. Where's the fucking number? There were 3 million right here. In the third quarter of 2024, 3 million non-permanent residents were present in Canada. So we do have 3 million temporary workers in Canada as per Stats Canada. Okay. I did a quick search, and Google tells us that there are currently 16.5 million people employed in Canada's private sector, including those who are self-employed. 16.5 million. Guess what the number is if you take 3 million and you divide it by 16.5? 18.18. So it is accurate that 18% of workers in the private workforce right now are on a temporary worker, or sorry, on a temporary worker visa.
Yeah. And you know,
tell me that is not fucked up, because when you see that number, I'm like, damn, that's almost 1 out of 5 Canadian, and 1 out of 5, no, I can't say Canadian, 1 out of 5 people working for the private sector in Canada is a foreign worker. I'm like, yeah, bullshit. That's way too high.
Well, it is.
If you look at the actual number from StatCan, it is 100% accurate. It seems that over 18% of our workforce in the private sector are foreigners here temporarily.
So not even citizens, or not immigrant citizens, but just like people who came over just on a work permit, just to work.
Could be considered student visa, obviously, because you know that a student visa comes with a work permit. Yep. Most of them, at least. So they could be seasonal. As Bumpy's saying, we have a temporary foreign worker in Niagara. There's a lot of seasonal workers. So like the wineries, sure. But you can say, you can look at students. You can look at Tim Horton workers. You can look at, like we were talking about 2 days ago, where most of those industries are hospitality, meaning restaurants, hotels, retail, and manufacturing. Remember, there's 23 companies that are, there's 23 Quebec companies that are suing the federal government for $300 million because of they cannot keep up with the new legislations that were passed last year, as in increase in salary for temporary foreign workers, the market assessment, the job the liability assessment to make sure that you are not able to find Canadians. And remember, if the unemployment rate goes over 6%, the government won't even look at your request because there's plenty of people to work. So, you know, man, it's I just saw that this morning, and I'm like, it's one of those quick ones we can go through, and I'm just, this is not good, man. This is not good, man.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like there's not a whole lot of like analysis to do. The numbers are the numbers are the numbers. But it's important to talk about. As Bumpy says, we have temporary foreign workers in Niagara. There's a lot of seasonal workers that work the wineries and farms. They go back home and only come to work a few months of the year. Yeah, no doubt. There's an actual reasons why we have a temporary foreign worker program, and there are some of them absolutely are valid and appropriate. The problem is the system has been abused. We do not need temporary foreign workers to work at Tim Hortons, to work at McDonald's. No. Those jobs used to go to our kids, and also are retired, who maybe are retired, but they don't want to be put out to pasture yet. They still, maybe they want to earn a couple dollars on the side. These jobs go for those. And now, you know, I've said before, I've got a 16-year-old son. I took him job shopping. We went for weeks, could not get an interview, couldn't even get an interview at any of the fast food places. Every single person was or at least appeared to be a temporary foreign worker. didn't speak great English. And anyone who's been to Tim Hortons knows this happened overnight. And that is not what the temporary foreign worker program is for. That is abusing it. You've got 15% youth unemployment rate while we're bringing in millions of people to work at Tim Hortons and McDonald's. That's not right. That's wrong. And we need to be able to speak about it, especially as liberals, people on the left. Unfortunately, what's happened is the left has made it so that if you do speak out against it, they'll call you racist and say you're full of hate. And those people are idiots. They can be ignored. The problem is that is an abuse of the system, and that hurts Canadians. And there's nothing racist about saying that.
And I wanted to mention this. I'm happy I took notes, but the same report from StatCan that I was talking about is also saying that the number of temporary foreign worker rose from 356,000 in 2011 to 845,000 in 2021. This large increase has been driven primarily by current and previous study permit holders. So you are literally looking at almost 3 times. It's 2.5 times, give or take.
Yeah,
more, and that is 2021. I would argue that the foreign workers right now, if I'm not mistaken, are above 1 billion. So it's even higher now. It's almost 3 times more now, because last time I checked, I'm pretty sure it was over 1 million. So the point in the matter is that there's a good reason when you start looking at those numbers and you start looking at, as you mentioned about your son, the 15 to 24-year-old right now have an unemployment rate of almost 14%.
Crazy.
Is that, or do we have a lazy youth? Sure, I can understand that. But are you saying that those numbers aren't, did we almost more than double our foreign workers because our youth is lazy? Is really like, is that,
yeah,
is that what you're going to tell me?
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Of course,
but I'm just saying,
but there definitely are ones out there that want to work. Just listen, you can't tell me you cannot fill Tim Hortons positions, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to prove
there, man.
Prove to the government that you cannot find any Canadians to work at this job. That's crazy. That's nonsense. Like, to say that, like, I'll believe it for seasonal farm workers. That makes sense. But Tim Hortons, no, I don't.
I worked at Tim Hortons to pay my college when I went back to school in my 20s. If it wasn't for my Tim Hortons job that I could get on weekends, I don't know what the fuck I would have done.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that will hire a next drug addict and a next drug dealer. I'm just saying. I did not have a lot. I was not going to work for the government. Well, maybe today. Maybe I was too young. It was 20 years ago. So maybe today, if I was a next drug dealer, drug addict, I would score point on the woke totem pole and I'd get a job at the government while studying, maybe. But hey, in my time, it was not the case. I was not getting a job anywhere with that type of references. Do you have any experience? Oh yeah, I've sold a lot of weed. And
I've got a lot of sales experience.
Yep. So yeah. Any comments you want to take? But I think that they're still going. A lot of the comments are still going.
Actually, I kind of wanted to
on the Trump.
I kind of wanted to jump in a little bit, because Joe and Bumpy are. I'm not going to bring all the comments.
Don't bring back the last comments. No, don't bring it back. It's a rabbit hole that we don't need to go down. Let them.
I'm just making a quick. I'm not going to go deep into it. But there's fucking Trump being.
There's no quick anything. There's no fuck off. There's no quick anything.
I think both you guys are kind of right. Like, no doubt, Joe saying that rich people, basically there's 2-tier justice system, or the rich people don't get charged with crimes in the States, and Bumpy is saying that Trump was politically motivated. I mean, both can be true. No doubt that rich people can afford lawyers. That's a huge advantage. And undoubtedly, there are some DAs who will let them slide.
Of course.
But as a rule, as a policy, no. I mean, there are definitely DAs who have integrity who will charge rich people. But you can't say that the Trump being charged was not politically motivated. It was 38 different charges, all related to one thing: paying off a porn star because he didn't want his wife to find out about an affair. I don't care about that. The American people clearly don't care about that. And that to say, like, yes, it's technically true, he's a criminal, 38-time felon, but that's highly misleading, because all he did was pay off a porn star. That I don't really give a shit about that. I don't think anyone gives a shit about that. Did he get away with? I'm sure he's probably gotten away with a lot of crimes. I've no doubt about that. He seems like that kind of guy.
I've gone away with a lot of
Yeah,
crimes.
we all have.
I'm just saying, I'll be the first one to admit that, goddamn, a lot of my friends ended up in jail. I didn't. Did I get away with shit?
Exactly.
Yeah, I did.
Well, you're
Yes,
right.
I did.
That was as deep as the rabbit hole I wanted to go down. But I didn't want to say.
But I never paid a hook. I never paid a porn star. I'm just putting it out there.
I mean,
and I'm not saying that because my wife is right there. I'm just
I don't care about that as crime. Like, and it's not even a crime. It's only a crime because it was a campaign finance crime. Like,
because he got caught.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a crime if he just did it so his wife didn't find out. But it's because he was running for president. And I mean, I just personally, I don't. That's not the same as saying he's a criminal because he went out and murdered someone or whatever. Anvil said, going to school here should not include permission to work here. It is impossible to get a manual job. That's a great comment.
Fucking man.
And I'm glad to hear that, from a fellow lefty, because it's often hard to get lefties to go say anything against that might be perceived as an anti-immigration narrative, but that is not anti-immigration. That is just saying these jobs are important to Canadians. It's important, as Anvil continues, I can't get a menial job to help me as a senior. Why? Because the foreign students have competed to be out of the market. I'm a poor Canadian who can't afford an apartment because of this. You are exactly the person I was talking about 5 minutes ago when I said these jobs are important for people like my son, 16 years old. This is often their first start in life. This is often when how they learn responsibility. This is one of the first adult things they do. That's an important thing. And people like yourself who have retired, you need some extra money, and you can't get it because and it's not even students. They're bringing people over from most of those people at Tim Hortons that you see, like the Indians working there, they aren't even students. They are brought over just to work at Tim Hortons because Tim Hortons has, what's the name of that form, the labor market analysis report?
LMIA.
LMIA. Every single person working at Tim Hortons or McDonald's or Walmart, the company had to fill out a form and prove to the government that nobody else wanted that job. So as you know yourself personally, Anvil, that's bullshit. There are Canadians who want those jobs. That is a loophole in the system they are exploiting. And it is harming Canadians, and we need to be able to speak out against it. And this is one of my things as a liberal. We need to be able to speak about immigration without being called racist, because this has nothing to do with being racist.
It's a labor market impact assessment is how they are called.
And without knowing anything about how they filled that out, it's bullshit. Because essentially they had to prove that there are no Canadians that want that job, and we're talking to one right here. Here's one. I've got my son is one. Yeah. And these are just two people in immediate vicinity of me. There are millions of young and old Canadians out there who want these jobs. And we're flying people in from other countries to take them. And that's wrong. That isn't right.
Here is another article I wanted to share from Blacklock's reporter. And by the way, we don't have any subsidies from them. We're not paid by them. I would happily put our show on our platform, but hey, just saying.
Yeah,
we are trying. We did have approval to get one of the founding fathers of that platform to come on the show, but it was a bit complicated to make it happen. But all to say, eventually they will show up. But we do like that platform because, man, they do some good work. Here is one that I found very fucking interesting. Sharia loans more inclusive. The Blacklock reporter reports housing policies should reflect the rich cultural mosaic of Canadian society, with Sharia loans, says a CMHC consultant report. Financing according to Muslim law set a precedent for inclusivity, said the Censored Access to Information study. The introduction of an element of Sharia law in the Canadian legislation would set a dangerous precedent. Now, because I do a lot of research, I tried to find that out, and I didn't.
Yeah, you'll have to explain that. Because on the surface, what they're saying, I don't have an issue with this, but I'm sure there's a fine print.
Unfortunately, I cannot get my hands on the CMHC consultant report. I assume that people know what the CMHC is. CMHC is the Canadian corporation that you deal with when you cannot provide more than 20% or below 20% of investment.
Which is most mortgages.
Most mortgages, exactly. So you normally enter a deal with the CMHC. It's kind of an insurance policy.
Yeah.
To make sure to the lender
it adds a little bit more onto your mortgage.
Yep. 100%. So I did some research and I could not find the report that they're talking about. I don't have access to the censored access to information study, but I did find some interesting information, as in the CMHC's exploration of halal mortgages. So it is something that's been in the works. Rebel News talked about it on March 14, 2024, just before they talked about it on March 14, 2024, and just before the April 18, 2024 federal budget pledged to explore alternative financing products like halal mortgage to support Canada's 1.8 million Muslims. The Halal Housing Group statement aligns with the inclusivity framing, noting that such initiative address affordable, culturally appropriate housing and set a precedent for inclusivity and sustainability. So, you know what I find interesting about that, and this is something that you and I talk about all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. Why is it that the government is exploring, the federal government is exploring within their budget Sharia compliant mortgages? Why? Shouldn't it be the same everywhere? Like the fact that they have called in their culture, they have different values, supposedly that there's something about interest that you're not, Jews are the same way, like Jew to Jew. You're not supposed to be able to charge interest to another Jew, and you have the Jubilee year that everything is canceled. Like if you have loans out there on the Jubilee year, everything's canceled. So there are certain specifics within their own culture, but at the same time, is that really what the job of the federal government is, to get involved in that shit? Because I don't believe so. It should be one tier for everybody. If you have private entities that want to do it, if you have the private sector, if you have banks that want to do it, deal with the CMHC, that's fine. But that shouldn't be a consideration in our budgets to make changes to the way our mortgage policies are ran just because you have a group that doesn't align with the way, bro. There's multiple countries you can go to that law's already in place, bro. You don't need to change ours for that.
I would need to kind of see the specifics and what the difference is between a halal mortgage and a regular one. If it doesn't cost us or the government anything, and if it's just a matter of rearranging some words or whatever, because supposedly it's interest free, right? And that's because charging interest is against it's haram. It's against. So obviously
that was one of the components. That's why I brought it up. But
and obviously there's got to be some some shenanigans going on, some wordplay, because there's no one who's going to give anybody an interest-free mortgage. Now, if people are getting special deals that are not accessible to anyone else just because
that's my point.
That I would have a huge problem with that. I'm not saying that's what's going on.
This is my point.
If that's what's going on, I have a huge problem with that. Now, if it's just a matter of they pretend they're not paying interest because they say, oh, you're not paying me interest, but you'll pay me, an equivalent amount in some other thing. They renamed it, or virgins. Yes. They've renamed it just so that they can feel like, oh, I'm not paying interest, when you're actually paying interest, but it's not any different. The deal is the same, whatever, do your thing. But if the government's paying money, if the government's, if it is costing anything above and beyond what a normal mortgage would, or if they're getting special benefits, then I would have a big problem with it.
But obviously it is costing something, because there's studies from the government that went into it. They've been studying it as per the reports, historical context. A 2010 CMHC report by Godlin, Lafleur, Anderson found no legal barriers to Sharia compliant mortgages, indicating long-standing interest in accommodating Islamic finances within the Canada's housing framework. So the point of the matter is that they've been researching it. So that's the thing, right? So it is costing money. And as you said, if it's just legalese that there is certain wording that you need to use in order to make them feel better, that's one thing, which I don't agree with, but that's one thing.
Yeah. I'm not going to get that another tape about it, but
if at the end it gives them an advantage that I do not get because I'm not Muslim, is fucking bullshit. And as Bumpy says, that researching ain't cheap. No research done by the federal government by hiring consultants is cheap. We all know that. It ain't fun. Nothing the federal government does is cheap. Nothing, because it's not their money. So
no, 100%.
One more I wanted to bring up, and this one quickie, just like your Fridays, and it's one for the military, so that one's for you. I found that to be very interesting. The name, and again, I don't know what the fuck happened with Blackhawks, but I was reading their shit. I'm like, bam, bam, bam. It's the first time I shared 3 articles. But basically, the name of the article is "No Charter Claim in Military: A Charter Challenge of Vaccine Mandates Imposed by then Chief of Defense Staff General Wayne Eyre has been dismissed by a federal judge. Incomplete figures show nearly 1,600 soldiers, sailors, and air crew resigned, were discharged, or faced disciplinary for defying COVID orders. This is something that has been confirmed. The Western Standard is actually quoting Justice William Pentney, a former deputy justice minister, dismissed the case filed by infantryman Liam Jarbeau without granting a hearing. He ruled that the proper venue for Jarbeau's complaint was the military grievance external review committee, not the courts. Basically, simply put, there's almost 2,000 soldiers, airmen, what is it? Seamen?
Yeah,
I never get to use that term. But there's all our branches of military. There's almost 2,000 of them that lost their jobs for not complying with the COVID vaccine mandates. This military dude by the name of Liam Jarbeau went and tried to sue them. And
this is about the mandates, about the
Yep, 100%. Because you know what happened in the US, right? All the people that lost their jobs have now regained their jobs if they wanted, and they've been compensated whatever they lost during that period of time, salary-wise. Trump is giving it back, which this, like Trump or not, that should have never been a thing. You should have never fired those people for not wanting. We spoke about this so many times that you shouldn't tell me what is good for me and force me to take it if I believe different, and it's not changing anything. Like, for all the people out there that believe that the whoop whoop was helping culture, it was not. It was just somewhat protecting you, just like your face diapers. They didn't change anything for the rest of us. Thank God most people wore face diapers, because you guys are fucking ugly. But that is a different topic in all in itself. I'm just kidding. This is just a joke. Just a joke. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you know some of your buddies that actually part of those ish 2000?
Yeah, so most of my buddies have gotten out. I think I've got 2 that were still in when that was all going on, and they were, as far as I know, I think they just went along with it. But and we've talked about this before. I'm not anti-vax per se. I'm highly skeptical of the mRNA vaccines, but the common ground on this issue is nobody should be forced to put any pharmacological substance or drug or vaccine, any medication in their body whatsoever, with as the cost of just participating in society, of keeping your job. That, like, we can all agree that is, however you feel about vaccines, that should be an absolute hard line, and you have to defend that. You have to defend that position aggressively. You cannot allow a government to get away with forcing people to inject drugs into their body they don't want just to participate in society. That's wrong.
Bang bang. Wop
That's
wop.
it. Wop wop canoe.
Wop, wop, canoe.
It's so good.
This is the
Wop
wop,
canoe.
canoe.
I
And
love
if you
that.
guys weren't here yesterday, you don't understand what the fuck that means, is because the premiere for, what is it, Saskatchewan,
This is Saskatchewan, yeah.
is a native guy by the name of, it's not his name, obviously, but Rob called him Wop Canoe. Yes.
Well, it's Wob apparently, but then it became Wob.
No, it's Wop Kawawonu or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
It
okay,
has,
that's right.
so I'm not
Phonetically.
laughing. Yeah, phonetically, it's like the
It looks
whitest
like
fucking
canoe.
thing ever. Wop Canoe.
Wop canoe.
Oh yeah,
that's
there
really
you
funny.
have it.
All right, guys, we're gonna put a pin in her there. We're getting pretty good discipline with time, right on time. Excellent show today again. Some great comments, some great debates, great discussions. Appreciate you guys coming here. You could have been anywhere in the world today and you chose to be here with us. Hope we got some from Manitoba.
Good call. See, this is what I like. Call my bullshit.
Yeah, that's right.
Call my bullshit. So it's not Saskatchewan. It is Manitoba. And it makes sense. The premiere of Manitoba is Wop Wop Good.
Wop Wop Canoe.
Good.
Mad Dog, good to see you, brother. Guys, we got some new faces today. If you do, again, remember to like and share the stream. That's always important to do. If you really want to support the show, help build the community, you can become a member through YouTube for the low price of $2.99. Other than that, guys, have a great night. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel.
Actually, I'm not there tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it's me and
Rob is going to be running the show alone for the first.
Things are going to change around here, folks. Yeah, me and Jason.
So if it's really fucked up yet tomorrow, I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be there. If they talk about one single subject, I can call it right now. It's probably going to be Gaza.
We're going to avoid that. We're going to avoid that.
Oh, sure. You and Jason avoid Gaza? Sure.
Yeah, that's
cool
true.
Story, bro.
I'll be trying to get away, and Jason will be dragging me down. The rabbit will come down.
No.
Yeah,
we all
float down here.
That's my job, and it's fucking hard to keep you guys on. If
without you here, it's just gonna be one giant Gaza.
It's gonna be one massive rabbit hole into Gaza and the Zionist state of the world. There you go.
Yes.
I call it right now.
Oh,
but I'm not there tomorrow, but I'll be there on Friday.
Me and Jason will be here tomorrow, and then Nico's back here.
Remind us about when the food processor, the food professor, you mean?
The food professor, the food processor.
I'm pretty sure.
When we got him here, we got to call him that. Here, welcome, the food processor.
Doc food processor.
Yeah, the dog food processor.
Hopefully you come back, bro. You have a sarcastic, very sarcastic humor.
You fit in great. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll catch you tomorrow.